Yes, sir. Ms. Baker?
Here.
Mr. Cox? Here. Mr. Dominic? Present. Mr. Epperson? Yes. Mr. Escudé? Here. Mr. Jenkins? Present. Mr. Lynn? Mr. Lynch?
Here.
Ms. McCullough? Mr. Harrison? Present. Mr. Smith? Mr. Thibodeau? Here. Have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Jenkins, will you lead us in prayer? Commissioner Epperson, the pledge, please.
Father God, we just thank you for this day, and we thank you for your blessings. We know that this is a day that you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. We lift up each member of this commission body today. Give us the wisdom, the knowledge, and the direction we need to make decisions that are in the best interest of this parish and of our citizens. We just thank you, Father God, for the administrator, for the administrative staff, for all the employees of the parish who work day in and day out to make this a better place for all of us to live. Continue to look over us and keep us in your grace. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Face flag, render the proper salute, repeat the pledge in unison. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, boys. I hope everybody's well this afternoon. Once again, we are technically challenged. We have no computer agenda or anything before you, so we're going to have to go back and do this the old-fashioned way. So, we'll take it a little slower. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand so that Mr. Epperson can acknowledge you and get your name on the list for each topic. We will vote by hand vote, because that's the only other way we can do it. We'll get through it. All right. We have any agenda additions from anyone? No? Reports. Administration report. Mr. Wilson?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioners. We have, yesterday, we have Mr. Simmons, and we're from DHH, and Mrs. Mary Ann Shaw, which most of us know her. And they're here to talk to us today about the Human Service District. I met with them last Tuesday, and we at the point now of further discussion had ensued, and we have to appoint someone to be a part of the Regional Human Services District, and they're here to talk to us about that today. So if you would, Mr. Simmons and Ms. Mary Ann, would you come forward, please? Welcome.
Good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here. I'm Mary Ann Shaw. Some of you may know me more as the wife of Dr. Buddy Shaw than Mary Ann Shaw. But I'm happy to be here, and I am here to talk to you about my personal involvement in mental health. Because unfortunately, from a personal experience, I have a great passion for those with developmental disabilities, particularly the mentally ill. In fact, for years, I have advocated for the mentally ill. For example, I recently approached the lawyer who is with the Health and Welfare Committee in the state legislature to learn if several needs which I felt were critical had been addressed in the session or were going to be addressed. To my surprise, the attorney offered to set up a meeting with a group that he felt would be better to address the concerns that I had. In fact, I learned somewhat surprisingly that this group consisted of 4 top people from the State Department of Mental Health and Hospitals. And they gave a little overview, and we talked together in this regard. At some point, they said to me that they thought that perhaps I could help them bring about a change that was taking place in mental health. With a no response, I continued to listen and to pray, perhaps hoping that, in fact, this would not be my role in this regard. However, I came to know, to feel that this was not only an opportunity, but perhaps a calling. Most importantly, mentally ill people are in fact part of a larger group which includes those who have developmental disabilities, substance abuse, and other problems concerning mental health and public health. Perhaps the average person could identify these people. For example, let me tell you a story very briefly about a lawyer whom I knew when I was growing up. He We went to the same church. He was several years older than I. He always excelled academically in school. At LSU, he became a lawyer. He was on the tennis team. He was involved in fraternity life. He married, had children, and at some point his behavior began to change. And when I began to know this more fully, he was in fact the man you might have seen in the long overcoat. He would wear an overcoat on the hottest summer days. And generally, oftentimes he was going up and down Line Avenue. He received a little bit of money, and he spent that money on housing immediately, which was probably a good thing, because he would have been in greater danger, perhaps, with the money on him. And then the rest of the time, he slept right in that breezeway in First Presbyterian Church. This led, of course, to a completely broken marriage and so forth. Moreover, my kitchen window faces Fairfield, and recently while I was cooking, I noticed a young man holding a card that he appeared to be reading. He walked past our house about 6 times within about 3 or 4 hours. He continued to appear to read this same one card, which as far as I could tell is a 6x4 card. I would say these people are the silent people. These are the people who cannot advocate for themselves. Probably the average person couldn't identify them. They are overlooked. For example, in Caddo, Berkshire, and DeSoto parishes, statistics identify 7,392 adults that we know of who need services, but only 18%, and that's a little over 400, can be served. Even more striking is that in the same area there are probably 9,052 children who need services, but only 5% or 440 children can be served. And only when they are untreated does this overlooked group of silent people become noticeable, a situation largely due to their odd and sometimes frightening behavior. However, the great heresy of the mentally ill and many others in this group is that if we neglect them, if we fail to identify them, they will have more and more episodes, and these episodes will occur more and more often, a situation leading to psychosis. And once they begin to go into psychosis, they are caught in an unstoppable vortex, relentlessly leading to full-blown psychosis. Also, the more episodes they have, the less likely they will ever reach a point where they do not hear voices directing them to aberrant behavior. In fact, it is only in death that they are free of the voices oftentimes. So how then, what can we do for these people? Many of these people simply cannot be relied upon always to remember to take their medications. So just one of the great needs is to provide a place where medications can be administered until the person is stabilized. The alternative to this is to allow these episodes to persist, a decision resulting in the ruination of lives of people who then, at best, will need to be housed and cared for the remainder of their lives. A costly and awful choice. Fortunately, today the State Department is offering us an opportunity to directly address the needs we identify in our communities. And Rusty Seaman will explain how this works. I appreciate your attention.
Thank you, Commission members, for the opportunity to talk to you all about this much needed situation the Department of Health and Hospitals and the legislature has brought about through Act 373 in the 2008 legislative session. They created an opportunity for the development of human service districts. And Ms. Shaw has been a long-time advocate for mental health issues. And as she told you, in seeking how she could best deal with those or approach those. She was directed towards the Human Service District effort. And I think that we have come before you before, just for a brief period of time, to talk to you about the Human Service District concept and what it entails. And we've pretty well boiled it down to the two main issues that we've heard over and over again have been questions about liability for the Parish Commission and cost. And I can tell you that we have an attorney's judgment, statement, an opinion from DHH that says that there is no liability for you to recommend board members to this Human Service District board. I can tell you through the operations of the other Human Service Districts that are up and running that there are no additional costs for you recommending a board member to this board. The way the legislation is written, there will be one individual recommended to this board from each parish. The governor gets to appoint 3 individuals, and so we're encouraging each parish to make recommendations for those 3 as well. So we're essentially asking you to make a recommendation for an individual or individuals to serve on this Human Service District Board, realizing that there is no legal liability for you, there is no additional cost for you. And the benefits of this are that we'll have local decision-making ability. At present, for mental health, substance abuse, and developmental services, those decisions are made in Baton Rouge. Oftentimes, the distance and the fact that they're administrators of their own areas of expertise keeps them from knowing what's going on the ground here and what the local communities actually need. I can give you some examples of changes that have happened recently that probably would not have changed had there been local decisions and the authority locally to make those decisions. One example would be contract cuts in school-based services for kids. That decision was not made locally, was not made with the benefit of the local opinion of what was necessary. As Ms. Shaw stated, there's a great need for mental health services for kids. So taking those contracts away is something that under this new system would be decided by the board and the executive director hired by that board. The other benefits are that in the past, when I was the regional administrator here locally for mental health, we were able to save in our budget year $400,000 that year. But at the end of that fiscal year, it goes back to the state. It doesn't stay here to be reinvested. Under the Human Service District concept, any money that you operate efficiently and save, it can be reinvested here locally. It stays here. It doesn't go back to the state office to be redistributed. Another benefit would be that you can hire as many staff as you have money for. Presently, you can't do that. You have to operate within a table of organization that's identified by the legislature and through House Bill 1. You can't hire any more people than that unless you put them on temporary appointments, which isn't really for the benefit of that employee, so it's difficult to hire staff under those temporary assignments. So there are employee benefits, there are fiscal benefits. The largest benefit that I see is the ability to make decisions locally for the local needs. And that's about it in a nutshell. What we do need for the Parish Commission to do is for the President to sign a letter of intent saying that you agree as a commission to participate in this process by recommending individuals to the board. And what we'll do is collect those letters from each of the police juries across the rest of the region and submit those to Alan Levine, the Secretary for the Department of Health and Hospitals. He will then provide technical assistance for what it is that the board members are expected to do, and I've got a lot of that information myself. So we'll give you any advice or guidance that you need in who to select and what level of expertise or experience you might be looking for in those individuals. But we do need that letter to kind of get this kicked off and let Alan Levine and DHH know that the Region 7 consortium of police juries and commissions are interested in pursuing this. I will tell you, too, that since Act 373 in 2008, the Lafayette region, the Lake Charles region, the Alexandria regions have all appointed boards, so they're moving ahead with the development of human service districts. Baton Rouge, Florida parishes, which is Mandeville and North, New Orleans, and Jefferson Parish all have human service districts already. So it's quickly becoming true that the only areas in the state that won't have human service districts by design will be the Shreveport region and the Monroe region. So we're a little behind in getting this started, but I think we can catch up pretty quick. Any questions?
Ms. Lynch?
Let me ask, the Human Service District, is that strictly mental health?
It is not. The Human Service District, as aligned in Act 373, includes mental health, substance abuse, developmental disabilities, and some portions of public health. I will tell you that most of the human service districts, well, the only human service district that's incorporated any of public health is Baton Rouge. That was kind of a last-minute thought, I think.
So it's currently not operating, or is this just a reconfiguration of an existing?
Currently there are regional administrators. There's a regional administrator for mental health, a regional administrator for addictive disorders, and a regional administrator for developmental disabilities. They operate in silos. What this will do is bring the three of them together under a board and executive director, and the intent is to improve the level of collaboration between the two. Now, recently legislation was passed so that now mental health and OAD are joined under the Office of Behavioral Health. I want to confuse things. But the Human Service District concept will go miles beyond that to encourage collaboration because, again, they'll be operating under a single board and single executive director, which they do not right now.
Okay, so there's no executive director in place yet?
No, the board, once the board is constituted and appointed by the governor and approved by DHH, the board will hire the executive director.
Okay, and I may be getting a little ahead of myself because I'm going to be talking, I guess, Thursday a little bit about some mental health issues, but what is the target population? I know when you say mental health, I mean, is it juveniles? Because I know, mental health issues at our juvenile detention center has been an issue, as well as diverting mentally ill people from incarceration. Some of the behaviors that she talks about are not just people just walking around, out of their mind, but some of this activity leads to them being incarcerated and not receiving the treatment that they need.
So the target...
Does that... Will this address some of those issues?
The target population for mental health is it's seriously mentally ill adults or emotionally disturbed children with emotional impairments. The range of severity will differ depending on staffing and funding. And honestly, prevention gets lost when you have limited funds when you compare prevention versus emergency services. If you've got people presenting to the emergency room, then you're going to have to look at your dollar and decide whether you're going to fund the emergency situation or children in school. But again, those are decisions that the board and executive director would make here locally.
So how are you funded currently? How will the HSD be funded?
The Human Service District would be funded by the budgets for mental health, developmental disabilities, and substance abuse would go directly to the Human Service District to manage.
So
the current level of funding would continue in the Human Service District.
How did that fare under this last budget?
I think we all took cuts.
Okay.
I'm not sure the amounts, but yeah, I'm sure we all got cuts, and there'll be cuts in the future, this year in particular, for mental health.
Thank you.
Mr. Lynch, I think that's about a $30 million budget.
So between the three agencies, it's roughly $30 million
per year will be coming to the district.
Right. Now, the thing that won't be included, you asked about target population, that the institutions, the mental health hospitals and the developmental centers will not be included in the Human Service District. Those will still remain state-run.
Two populations, like I said, I'm looking at is those that run afoul of the law because of mental health issues, and combat veterans that are returning with post-traumatic stress syndrome and traumatic brain injuries that are, running afoul of the law. So